What's up, weirdos? Welcome back to another video. Hey, sorry, can you guys see me? Is this thing on? What's up, guys? My name's Felicia, and today we're gonna be talking about Unfriended Dark Web.
There's a cyber cafe that I've been working at, and this computer was sitting in the lost and found for the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Hang on, you stole someone's computer?
I didn't steal it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's messed up.
And I found this folder, it was hidden, and it automatically connects you to this thing.
Dude, this is dark web.
What's dark web?
Part of the internet where no one can track you.
It's all about drugs, illegal IDs, even assassination for hire. Hey, yeah, the dark net is mostly about the bad guys.
And this computer's got videos on it, right? Check this out.
Unfriended Dark Web, written and directed by Steven Sesko, is a standalone sequel to the 2014 film Unfriended. The two films follow a similar structure where you have a group of friends all video chatting on their computers, and the audience perspective is a real-time desktop, so you are seeing it through the main character's computer, and so you see that he's video chatting, Facebook messaging, all these things, and the storytelling is done through recorded footage, live footage, Facebook Messenger, text, etc., etc. This film centers around Matthias, who has stolen a laptop from a cafe, and while talking to his group of friends and his girlfriend Amaya, the owner is communicating with him through the computer and letting him know that he really wants that computer back. The biggest difference between this movie and the first one is that Dark Web sort of takes out the supernatural element. In the first movie, the characters were basically being haunted by a fellow classmate that had killed herself, and in this movie the characters are being more traditionally hacked, if you will. The structure of the two films is basically the same, where whoever's on the other side of the internet is using psychological torture and then eventually real torture to pick off the friends one by one until you're left with your main character. One thing I did like about this movie is that they made an attempt at diversifying. The first movie is really just a group of straight white kids, and this movie they tried to diversify the cast a little bit. This also included featuring Betty Gabriel, who you might know from Get Out. She played Georgina, and has been in a few Blumhouse productions now. My biggest complaint about this film is that they really gave away basically everything in the trailer. I watched the trailer a while ago, and then while watching the movie, every scary thing that happened, I was like, oh, that was in the trailer, so I'm not gonna jump. Oh, that was also in the trailer, so I'm not really freaked out by it. And though there was a twist at the end, it wasn't as satisfying as the first movie. The first movie gave me a really satisfying, ooh, they got me. And in this movie, I felt like they never really did. It really made the film feel more like a thriller than a horror movie. Let me know if you guys agree below. Now let's go ahead and get to the ratings. So for the scare, I'm giving it a 2. I really liked the first film, and in the second one, it felt like they really turned down the horror. And there wasn't a lot of jump scares, there wasn't a lot of like, oh no. I was never covering my eyes. And so the scare is getting a 2. There was really only one moment that I was freaked out by, which I'll get to in the spoiler section. The gore, I'm also giving a 2. Another complaint I have about this film is they weren't very creative with the deaths. And maybe it's because they took the supernatural element out of this movie, but I felt like all the deaths were very mundane. And thus I was sort of like, that sucks, but I was never like, whoa, or like, ugh, you know what I mean? Like I was just sort of like, okay. And for the cheese, I'm giving it a 2. There wasn't a lot of cheese in this movie. Some of the lines felt a little cheesy to me, but overall it wasn't that bad. I didn't have to roll my eyes too often, except for to the people in the back of my theater that were talking through the whole movie. Now before we get to the spoilers, I will say I didn't hate this movie. I actually kind of enjoyed it while I was watching it, but then when I left the theater, I felt like it just didn't satisfy my horror movie needs, if you will. Do I feel like you need to rush to the theaters to see it? Probably not. Honestly, you probably have a better experience watching on your laptop, which is the way I think these films are meant to be seen. So seeing it in theaters is really your call. And now to lead us into spoilers, there are 2 endings to this film. So all the theaters you can go to, they're either showing ending A or B, and you don't know what you're gonna get. And I'll tell you which one I saw in 3, 2, I saw the ending where Matthias basically gets buried alive, and then his deaf girlfriend is standing on top of his grave. And though he's calling her from the grave because she's deaf, she can't hear him and she can't help him, and so he suffocates right below her feet. This was my favorite death scene. I thought it was the most creative of the bunch, and definitely the most like, ooh, I really hope that never happens to me feeling. And one last thing that really bugged me about this movie is that though I could tell they were trying to have like more character relationship building throughout the movie, I felt like I actually cared about these characters a whole lot less than I cared about them in the first movie. In the first movie, stuff is revealed throughout that sort of make the main characters almost the monsters of the movie, and thus they become more three-dimensional, and thus you care about them more. And then in the second one, since they were all sort of just random innocent people, I didn't really care what happened to them. I was like, I don't really know anything about you. And other than Matthias and his girlfriend, the plot had nothing to do about the tensions of the relationships of the people in the movie. It really just had to do with them versus the bad guys on the end of the internet. Versus in the first movie, it was them versus this ghost versus each other all at once. And that was really interesting to me. And in the second movie, it just sort of fell flat. But that's it, guys. That's all I'll say for this review. Once again, my name is Felicia. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. I put out new horror content every Wednesday and Sunday. And I'd really appreciate it if you like this video and comment below any horror movie requests that you'd like me to review, and I'll do it. Now, have a nice scream, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!